Yeah, I got a sciatic nerve that's,
This is fine.
pretty good. So, anyway, all right, guys, so thank y'all for coming in and reaching out to me. Like I told you yesterday, Jan, I had called and texted and we couldn't connect for whatever reason.
I honestly think it's my phone. Couldn't place a call this morning to a 1-800 number was saying, so I honestly think that was my phone.
Penny, when she called me yesterday and we were talking about it, and I said, well, please call and let her know if she can call me directly. And so anyway, I'm thankful that we connected here. So anyway,
Thank you for taking time.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
well, that's not an issue. So,
We just kind of, we've got some concerns.
okay.
Okay. I've kind of called, and you know, I know as a sheriff that none of this probably rises to the burden of proof of any kind of foul play or wrongdoing, but to us, it just, you know, it raises some serious red flags. One of the first things that kind of caught me is because, you know, I've been talking to Tony throughout this whole thing, and just the timeline of events is concerning to me. Because
I'm gonna kind of take some notes as
sure.
we go along and excuse my messy desk here.
I've seen much worse. Okay, well, he told me, you know, this is just me and him speaking, that he had been working at the school all day and had started, you know, trying to get into, he said he spoke with Crystal at 10:06 in the morning, but that he had been working at the school all day long. And when he left school to go, you know, that's when he, you know, was getting ready to leave the school, and he called to see if Crystal had made it to her doctor's appointment, and found out that she hadn't. And he was at the karate school, and that's why he called, I guess, Deputy Matthews to go over and check on the house, or Deputy Harris, I'm sorry, to go and check on the house. Well, here's the thing. We've located his cell phone in Bastrop on that day. He never mentioned anything to me about going to Bastrop, anything like that. And I'm going to touch on some things, and Janet's going to show you the proof we found on a laptop that she obtained that used to belong to my sister. Apparently, she had some concerns with his whereabouts as well. So anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. But, so that kind of caught me off guard that, like, okay, he's telling me that he's at the school all day and didn't leave until he was done. He checked Cheyenne out of school, and they went to the karate school. Didn't say anything about being in Bastrop whatsoever. And another time we were talking, I was asking him about some things. We were talking after they had found the shell casing. And I was asking him, I was like, well, you know, just, to me, that's kind of a red flag, because it's such a small bedroom. It's a 15 by 15 bedroom. It's not like you're looking for a shell casing outside in those
So let me very quickly address that before we get too far off of that. You have to know and understand, sometimes a shell casing is very hot when it ejects from a pistol.
Right.
And when it hits something, it may stick to it.
Right.
We, after we could not locate the casing within the room, because I'm telling you,
Y'all looked, I know you did.
we looked hard.
I know you did. And so did cleaners, that's what I'm getting at.
So we kind of assumed, okay, it could have possibly been in her hair.
Right, I get that. Yeah.
And I may touch a nerve here, okay? So please bear with me. The blood that was in her hair, blood very sticky.
Right.
Okay, possibly it's in her hair, possibly it's within her clothing.
Correct.
That she had on. She had on a robe, a bathrobe. It's possible that it could be within that robe.
Right.
So when they do an autopsy, their body is sent to the autopsy to the doctor just as we find it.
Right.
Robe, clothes, and all. We were hoping that casing
Right.
would be found by the doctor when he does the autopsy.
Then that makes perfect sense. I
Okay.
get that, but what my concern is.
Okay, so hold it.
Okay.
Bear with me. So after Tony calls and says, "Hey, I found the casing. Here's where it was at."
Yeah.
Alan, my chief deputy, goes back and he looks at the photos that he took. There's the shell casing in the photo.
In a picture. Okay.
It's there.
Okay, that alleviates that concern.
So the makeup stand, we did not search it with a fine-tooth comb like we did everything else, because it was 5 to 6 feet.
Right.
Y'all know how far it was
Right.
from the bed. It's 5 to 6 feet, probably, maybe even further than that. We just did not search that top of that
Right. Okay.
makeup stand, maybe like we should have.
Okay.
But again, there in the photo, you can plainly see the shell casing is laying there.
Okay. That'll leave that.
How five sets of eyes overlooked that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that does address that.
Please know and understand. I have no doubt in my mind it was an oversight on our part that we didn't see it. It's laying there,
Right.
and you can plainly see it in the photograph.
Okay.
So
Well, that was my concern. It kind of seemed to me like that maybe it was placed there after the fact, after all the cleaners and everybody did, but that alleviates that concern. But here's another thing. When we were talking about the shell casing, I said, Tony, I said, have we heard? Go ahead.
No,
Answer that if you need to, bud. We were discussing the shell casing issue and everything, and I was like, well, you know, a lot of things are going to rot on time of death. And, you know, I asked him, I was like, has anything been heard from Little Rock yet, from the forensic pathologist, insofar as, you know, time of death, just kind of preliminary stuff? Yeah, they ruled it 5 hours, probably, he said, right around 5 hours after I talked to her. Well, I called Detective Irby. Detective Irby said, yeah, I hadn't heard anything from Little Rock as far as time of death yet.
no, as far as I
So
know,
Tony is saying that he knows.
Well, so let me.
See,
And
these
I
are
don't
red
want to
flags
sound
for
like
me.
I'm
These are red
shooting
flags.
down everything that you're hitting me with. Please don't take it like that.
I'm not.
But let me try to shed some light from my perspective on your issues that you have. Okay, he knows the last time that he spoke to her. He knows probably from me that it was a gunshot wound, because I told him that.
Yeah.
He wanted to know what was the cause of death. All right, sir. If you
Well, right,
if you
yeah,
were in that
exactly,
situation, I tell
exactly.
you the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave you hanging for days on end wondering what happened to your wife in there.
Yeah.
Told me it was a gunshot wound, a single gunshot wound at that. There's
Right.
no
I
double.
understand that. He's next of kin. Y'all have
So-
to be frank with him.
So I probably provided that information to him at some point.
Okay.
To say, man, it looks like, it looks like she's been there 4 or 5 hours. You know, if you talk to her, I don't even know the exact.
So nothing from the pathologist then?
Absolutely
Okay.
not. There's nothing from them. And he, the pathologist and the doctor up there, is not going to relay that information
Right.
to anybody but me. He's not going to relay it to you. Or
Exactly.
you.
That's why I threw up a red flag for him.
You-
It's
you're not-
because how are you able to? I understand
But
what you're saying.
me knowing Tony, I almost could see where maybe in his mind he construed that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
that's just me. But anyway,
Another concern that we kind of had is they were having some serious financial issues, which was relayed to me through my conversations with Crystal and to Jana. When her oldest son, Corbin, called her about a month ago to let her know that him and his girlfriend were pregnant and she was going to be a grandma, that she was elated by the news, and we were kind of talking about it, and and she just kind of brought up the fact, she was like, well, all Tony seems to be concerned about is we're going to have to max out another credit card for me to go and see my grandchild in upstate New York. Nothing illegal about being an asshole. I'm just going to be frank. I understand that. But what it told me is that they have really hardcore financial strain going on in their life right now. A lot of maxed out credit cards, things of that nature. She said they had to spend a bunch of money repairing a vehicle and all that. But this kind of leads to where some of what Janet's going to show you. They went from having some really difficult financial issues to there's some money coming in now. There's a rental property in Tennessee. There's been a rental car secured in Hawaii. Just kind of spitballing here. It looks like he's getting ready to leave. He's getting ready to dump some of his stuff in Tennessee and go to Hawaii for however long. That's not, like I said, I know that's not illegal, but it's raises a red flag here, especially, for the family. We've been doing some digging into his past criminal history. He doesn't stay anywhere for long. He's bouncing around all over the place. And my concern is if my sister found out about some of these things and the dating sites he was on, she's got proof of all the dating sites that he's been on for the past couple of years. If my sister found something that could have put him in legal jeopardy, I wouldn't put it past him to try to stage something. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. And I know he's well known around here, and frankly, that doesn't comfort me. It raises some conflict of interest issues. Not really that you guys are professional. I'm not disparaging law enforcement at all. You guys are pros. But what I'm getting at is there may be unconscious inherent bias of, well, I've known this guy, like Detective Burby told me, I've known this guy for 20 years. That kind of, it's kind of like, well, man, maybe you should separate yourself from it a little bit because you're close to this guy, But there's just a lot of red flags.
So let me ask you.
Yeah.
And again, I want to be as transparent and clear because I don't want there to be any question. What do you have concerns that my office has not looked at this?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that we would like maybe a second look because there's some new things coming to light. He has no problems lying to y'all. He's got no problems lying to us.
This case, as with every other case, is never closed. Nobody has closed this case.
Okay.
So if you've got that assumption, let me clear that up. The case is never closed.
Right.
I've got a double homicide from 1972 right there that happened in Epps right there in this file. It's never closed. I look at it from time to time to say, man, did they miss something then?
Right.
That maybe I could pick up on? So a case is never closed.
And just so I'm clear, I'm not, like I said, I'm not disparaging your department or Detective Irby in any way. You guys are, for all I know, there's a reason you're in your positions. You've excelled. You've proven yourself to be good at what you do. My concern is that if there may be unconscious bias of like, well, I've known Tony for 20 years and he would, maybe something was overlooked or, maybe there's other avenues of, investigation that might prove helpful to you. Because if there is any kind of, anything that can be proven or things that come up later, I really want to get this pathologist report back, but I understand that's going to take some time. But I also have concerns about her being right-handed. And it appears, and I know we're not going to know this for sure to the coroner's report, but I've seen the body. It looks like her non-dominant left hand was used. There was bruising on her body. The funeral director.
How do you know the left hand was used?
That's what I'm saying. When we get the coroner's report
No. So let's answer these questions as we go. And again, I'm not trying to poke holes.
You might know something I don't. Yeah, things I don't.
And I do.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to know, how do you know her left hand was used?
It looks on the body. It looks kind of like, the entrance wound or the exit wound is on the right hand side of the head. I was in the National Guard. I've sold firearms for a living. I'm quite aware of ballistics, things of that nature, and it just looked funny to me. And like I said,
you think the exit one by a photograph or just the one at the funeral?
Just
before the makeup was applied.
Yeah.
I had to apply her makeup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that the exit one was on the right hand side?
Yes. Like I said, that's going to be in the pathologist's report. But statistically, and I've looked up, all these statistics are coming from the FBI website. It's very rare that someone uses their non-dominant hand. it's also very rare that female, you know, when they do use a firearm, it's very rare that they, you know, head or face. It's generally to the body, but it's extremely rare for non-dominant hands. So you got that raised a lot of red flags for me. Just the logistics of, and like I said, all that's going to be, you know, in Dr. Peretti's report. But it raises a red flag for us. And anyway, I mean, like I said, it just kind of seems odd to me. You know, with his past criminal history or things he's been accused of, that he is making plans to haul ass, man.
This Hawaii thing you're talking about, is this a trip that he has planned?
No, he was, I'll show you the.
Okay, I'm done.
All right,
Boy.
I'm gonna show you. All right, I'll take this out. So this, it was logged into his Google account, and this is where he had his phone linked, and this is the day of her death on the 9th.
Okay.
Pulled straight, and it shows, you know, he left his house. This is the address he drove to on Candace Land. Actually, it shows how long he was there. Stopped at the bakery barn, and then he shows where he was at Forest High School from 12:01 to 2:43.
Okay.
And then I had to print this one a little different because it cut off. Then he drove to Sonic from 325 to 357. Then Walmart Supercenter, 411. And then this was the same thing, just kind of broke up a little bit. And then he drove home. He was driving around Oak Grove from 416 to 437, and then home. He didn't actually call to check on her at the doctor's office until 416.
Timeline inconsistencies badly.
Yeah, because that's when he Google searched East Carroll Medical Clinic in Lake Providence, where her doctor's office is. I have copies of all this, so I mean, this is yours.
Okay.
I was telling you that he deleted contacts out of his phone. I don't know any of these people per se. I do know that a Dr. Williams, this is how it was listed in his phone. I printed this straight out of his Google account. For the Dr. Williams, he had it listed as a coroner with a cell phone. These were all deleted from this phone. Gives you the actual phone on February the 8th, the night before she died. Pastor Smith, a Chief Deputy Smith. Now, he deleted the phone number before he deleted the contact. A Taylor, Carroll Road. Like I said, these are people that he deleted. No other people were deleted out of his phone ever.
Or does it show a date that the? Okay, I see.
All of them February 8th. The only contacts he's ever deleted out of the phone, all from this phone. That deleted it from the Samsung Galaxy, and this is the phone he uses. That's linked to the Google account.
Okay.
And it lists the phone numbers. One of them is his cousin. She was actually at the funeral. Again, that just raised a red flag as to why would you delete your cousin's phone? And that was the night before her death. And this right here.
This.
Yeah, she's the owner. I did Google the number. That's one of five. This one listed an address. That's the bakery one.
Yeah, but she's not.
Okay, and I got those notes from me, but that was the address of the bakery barn.
Okay.
So I wasn't, it was just my notes. Don't know who those people are, but they do have phone numbers.
Your primary concern for him deleting all these numbers as well, would all these numbers be deleted the night before her death?
There's a lot of little things that when you look at them individually might not mean much, but when you look at the big picture and collectively, it tends to tell a different story.
Definitely discrepancies in his
And
time.
again, please don't take this as me shooting holes in your story, but let me tell you, if someone were to look at my phone, I was in here the other day, and I was looking for a particular number, and as I'm going through my contact list, I said, dang, that lady passed away.
So you deleted it.
Yeah, that's an old work
I
number.
had about 50.
Right.
All in the same, as I'm sitting there, I said, I think I'll take a little time and go through my contact list. I deleted about 50 that day. sitting right here in this chair.
Right.
Again, please don't take that
Right.
as me trying to shoot holes in your.
But it's
but
very
that's-
circumstantial.
what
We're
I
trying to
understand.
keep it logical, but
I-
when you look at
I
timing
do.
and things
I
like that,
understand. Yes,
it's,
ma'am.
it's a little
So-
questionable.
Yep.
So the reason why it ties together, on February the 8th, the day before 11:40, someone had to, this goes to Tony's email that my sister had access. Someone logged into their AT&T account, but it was from a device that normally doesn't log in because it's sent a one-time verification code.
Okay.
Which, again, my sister's not here to speak for herself, which obviously she logged in to get to their AT&T account and put it, my guess would be to see who's been talking to.
Okay.
There's the email for that. This is where I called Detective Herbie because a package was delivered on the day that she died at 1:16 from FedEx. The only reason I know is because my cousin is a FedEx driver. She's not related to Crystal, she's only related to me because we do have different dads. I wanted to ask Detective Herbie, when did Tony get that package? It was a phone. He ordered a new phone because he said his phone broke. Which isn't true because on February the 8th, I have a receipt where he had the phone fixed. He just ordered a new phone. This is where he activated the phone on February the 9th, the day she died at 8:35 p.m. because it was a Galaxy S20. So right now he has 4 phones, all signed in.
So this may be totally unrelated but there was a FedEx package on the steps when I was there
Right.
when we were there.
Okay,
That's
so
the phone.
that's the phone. I just wanted you to
Okay.
know
Yeah,
who gave it to him.
gotcha.
Okay, so that's just shows where he activated it.
Okay.
So him having a new phone is,
He has
you know,
four devices right now, I'll show
Yeah.
you that are logged
Okay.
in. They had a Ring camera, a doorbell camera.
Okay.
He told my brother that it hasn't been active in months, but
or in a month.
on a month. But here's the emails to where it updated saying that, a new device logged in. That was from January 22nd. They had devices logged into the Ring camera. Again, this is just nothing criminal, just something to add to the fact that it just, what the Google search I told you about, what is the appropriate time to date after the death of a spouse for February 13th, it's just,
Doesn't
Yeah.
seem like a grieving husband to me. I've been married 28 years and my wife died. That's the last thing I'm going to be Googling,
yeah.
4 or 5 days later.
You can't arrest somebody for being an asshole, but here's a list of email addresses, just in case. Now, this computer, my sister's had it right at 2 years, maybe a little less. So these are emails that he has, Inner Peace, that's a karate, that's his work. He's still, I don't know if he has access to that, I'm sure you guys have taken him out. But this is one that I wouldn't have known about my sister, so if y'all go any further, up to y'all, but that is an email address. This right here is the Main Street Rentals from Tennessee. This is where I called the number. It is a storage unit in Fulton, Tennessee, where he's paid the first. He did this on February 15th. He's got 48 payments left. Just a storage unit where, all the way in Tennessee.
What's his connection to Tennessee? Does he have
We'd like to
people?
know. We'd like to know that
You
ourselves.
can find out. There is no connection that we know of. His entire family lives in Bastrop. He has no relatives there that we know.
But he's moved around, man. We've found addresses in Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, all like very short periods of time before. He's only been married to my sister for a few years,
Okay.
but he has a history of moving around, and it seems like
So
probably gets ran out of
I
town.
want to talk more about that in just a moment, but anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the budget rental car. He has not chosen the vehicle, so they keep blowing him up because they need him to choose the vehicle. This is for February the 15th. This is all right around the same time. Your pickup location is this, Thursday, March the 9th at 11 p.m. in Hawaii. So this is February the 15th, and then they email him again. Once he caught on and he changed his emails, he deleted all this from his email, but I mean, it's recoverable. February 16th, they need him to choose his car before it's too late, for the vehicle isn't available anymore. Same thing, Thursday, March the 9th.
Was this put on a credit card?
I couldn't tell. I'm sure I have a list of all the credit cards they have. There's probably 15 of them.
Okay.
Right now, he's obsessed with this might be relevant, might not, I did print it off, Ancestry.com. I mean, like obsessed, where there were multiple emails, that's where he purchased the $30, almost $30 a month, MasterCard ending in that number. I don't know if he's looking for relatives somewhere, but he just did this on February 17th. He bought Bitcoin, a significant amount of $430.18 on February 20th. He lost his butt because Bitcoin's not worth really anything right now, but he did it through PayPal, so he thought it was untraceable. Bitcoin is...
There's a lot of money around all of a sudden.
Right.
Well, an alternative currency.
Here are his active phones. This is with the I. This was the only one logged in through the Inner Peace Google account. That phone right here, the G7 Samsung. Now this is Tony's, and these are all the phones that are logged in. Now this one's through AT&T, but these three are through a different carrier.
Well, it's AT&T, but
It's FirstNet.
they have a program.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's four phones, 4 devices, not including, it might be including Crystal's, I'm not sure what her make and model is. But, let me know if I'm going too fast. On February the 8th, which is the day before she passed away, at 1:19, the phone that he said was broken, he went to CPR cell phone repair on Louisville Avenue, and he paid $165 to have that phone repaired. So he brought that phone back with him. These here are just multiple, I'll let you go through them, multiple credit card bills that were like past due. From Harbor Freight to Mercury to a Platinum card, and they all have scheduled payments. I started a GoFundMe account. See, she died on the 9th, so we met with the funeral director, me, Dane, his wife, Tony, and Tony's dad on the 12th. And I didn't know she didn't have burial insurance. We thought she did. So Dane did the talking because he told me not to talk. And when I found that out, I told Tony, I was like, he was going to take out a loan. I said no, because my sister wouldn't want that. So the funeral, Mr. Nevels said, well, what about a GoFundMe account? So I started one, but the GoFundMe account is linked to my checking account, and so it comes straight to me. I'm not quite sure Tony liked that very much, but people in the Oak Grove community, he did tell us, had been giving him cash or checks or personal payments to him, and ever since that day, ever since it got spread on social media that, and I put in there that she didn't have burial insurance, he is good. Since all these payments were scheduled for February 12th, February 13th, he's made $37 payments, $187 payments to these credit cards that were maxed out, and that's where the money's going. Again, you can't arrest him for doing that because, but there's $4,000 left on the funeral. Of course, I could pay for it at the GoFundMe, but he's using it for other purposes, and one looks like...
The funeral home hasn't been paid anything that we're aware of. We've paid everything to the funeral home that the funeral home's received. It's like he's using these donations as a personal slush fund.
And we see that all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, this is just leaning towards more of what my sister could have found out, and I do want to share this with you before you talk to Dane about his past. And if my sister found out, if she found out he was having an affair, all hell would break loose. Okay, they would fight, argue. My birthday is December 13th. I didn't hear from my sister. December 14th, she texted me and told me she had a toothache. And I was like, okay, well, she wished me happy birthday. This was backed up on her Google account. She pinned Tony's location. This is
Okay, comes to the courthouse. It's on the first floor.
It just shows that she saw caught him.
Room 104.
Which means that she caught him having an affair.
We're about to wrap it up, I think.
Do you know or have you heard a name that may be associated with this?
I don't, but I can tell you that looking through his timeline of like that fresh timeline, I didn't have time to, his timeline was tracked. Like
there was a Bastrop address on one of those.
That's 5500 Candace Lane. That's where he was the morning of. But that,
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now that when I Googled it, Downey Black lives there. And he could say he was doing work for him. But when I looked at his timeline, I didn't have time to print them all off before he changed the password. He spent a significant amount of time, I'm talking about 4 to 6 hours, at a storage facility here. It starts with an S. But
Did it show an address?
I have a picture on my phone, hang on.
We have a Styron.
That's it.
Styron storage.
That's it. Every night, on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, he would spend 4 to 6 hours there. I don't know who works there. I don't know.
Actually, they have, I think he has a couple. He has a location down here by the karate school. I guess they're still having their karate thing down here at the,
He closed it.
I think it's close.
no, I'm talking about when it was open,
Oh.
down here at the old Walmart store. So that storage location is right beside
Okay.
that.
Styron
May
storage.
explain that, I
Okay.
don't know,
Right.
but I'm just saying that Styron does have.
Inordinate amount of time to spend at a storage unit that
Yeah.
many days a week.
Right. So that might have done that one. I don't have a name associated with it. I wish I did. Like I said, the only thing that would tell us that would be his phone records, and I'm afraid Crystal got a hold of his phone records because he had a work phone and he had his personal phone. This is just something saying that, like this was emailed to him February 7th. This is to show that Tony knew that his location was being tracked. I mean, he might not know what that email meant, but he knew, like he set it up for his location to be tracked. Because it says, here's your timeline for the month of January. And, you know, even if he goes and turns it off now, it's still tracked all the way from January to February. This is something that it has nothing to do with Tony, it's more so to do with my sister. You know, my sister was an insurance agent for State Farm for probably as long as I've been alive. But she was just a local agent. Wherever she lived, she was a local. Because she hated taking tests and she hated putting forth the effort to go any further. But when I was going through her Google Drive, she took a picture of a test that she didn't even tell me about, but it was from January the 30th. And she took a state certified exam that she passed with a 96%. And on January 30th at 10:23, January 30th, so 11 days before she passed away, January 28th, she took a screenshot of this picture. She only took screenshots if they meant something to her. And she said it's a beautiful day to stop dwelling on things you can't control. So, you know, he doesn't let me talk because I get emotional, because I know her better than anybody. So, when I tell you...
Say your piece. I mean, you're getting she had a new grandbaby coming. She had just passed this exam.
Mm-hmm.
Things were really looking up for Crystal.
It doesn't point towards
Things were really looking up for
any
Crystal.
need
She
for
had-
us on the one hand, and on the other hand, the information that's being presented to us, the timeline, the way he's
And I know
not being honest, they don't add up to present a uniform picture for us.
He's lying to y'all. We're not disparaging y'all's work, but y'all are having to listen to him to get details about things. It's how investigations work. And if he's lying to y'all, y'all need to be aware of it.
and the community, he has them fooled, because I mean, he can put on a front better than anybody I've ever seen. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't liked him since she married him. He was my call him number 4, because I was the fourth husband.
I only hung out with him at family gatherings. We weren't buddy or anything. I was just kind of struck me as odd, but
And I
that's just me.
He hasn't fooled y'all because you're good at what you do, but the people in this community, because her funeral, you could standing room only. I mean, it was all the way, they had to stand in the lobby, and it was people from this community that were there. And the preacher, it was Mike Mike.
Mike was
Mo.
masterful. Yeah,
He was amazing. He pulled me out to talk to me before he spoke, and I really, really liked him. Like, I really liked him a lot. But they saw a part of Crystal that wasn't Crystal. She was the face of Tony because that's what Tony made her be. And that's who she was to everybody. She was smiling, but he had ulterior motives as to why he married her. And it was to make himself look better. And it was to get to other...
Well, he lied from the get-go. He said he had all these rental properties. He was... he had
and
money and all this, and then they date for a while, and I guess he had kept that charade going. When they get married, that's when she finds out that yeah, he's not this big landlord. He's not this big, big shot that he put on to be. And that's kind of when I was like, I don't want to hang out with the guy.
Yeah.
He's lying. You know what I mean? I mean, he has no issue with lying at all. And like I said, I mean, he said some things to me that, just I'm like, yeah, you're lying. Just like you said, maybe you had inferred, the time of death kind of thing, but I'm like, so that's the they got coroners? Yeah. I mean, I was like, so they got I think I remember, I was like, so they got a preliminary in. Well, here's what they're saying. It's really, the time of death is around, it's probably going to be around 3 o'clock, somewhere in there. And I was just like, so I called to confirm with Detective Irby.
That's what I say, me knowing Tony, because, okay, so you know some things about Tony that I don't know about. Me knowing Tony,
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what
Because you know.
because I know of him and his
Demeanor and how he's
demeanor, that would be exactly what he would say. Well, yeah, preliminary, whatever, yada, yada,
Because he tries to act smarter than what he is.
Exactly. Is it factual? Well, you and I both know it's not factual because they're not going to release that information to him. That's something that he has concocted
To make him
in his mind. So, yeah, I know what you're saying there.
But just.
But yeah, there seems to be a pattern as far as, his ex-wife has a restraining order on him, and I think a lot of it had to do with that.
Are you expecting a Julie?
Yes, that's my wife. She's running a bit late, I'm sorry. But yeah, like I said, there's a restraining order, Shannon Jones.
Offset.
My wife, like I said, she's a family nurse practitioner. She's here right now. She kind of wanted to speak to some of those things and speak to,
Come on in.
come on in, babe. I was just telling them about you. You treated people with depression. You prescribed medications. We don't feel like that her getting off that medication would trigger, So and Julie is treated, like I said, she's a nurse practitioner. She treats people with that all the time. So if you want to speak
What
to
have y'all talked about already, so I don't...
everything, we're kind of wrapping it up.
Okay. Crystal's been on medicine for years. It's no different. She's tried that medicine in the past. I've refilled her medicines before. I just don't feel like that's enough to cause this. I know that when her son left, she was upset, of course, but she's very proud. So it's not like, that was the end of the world for her. She's happy for him. Her other son as well was having a baby. So it's just, I just don't see, and I know as a person grieving, we think things, not level-headed, and I thought all these things were just me grieving and blaming and going through the process until I saw her at the funeral home, and I know she's right-handed, and I knew immediately, and you can wait on the report all you want.
Yeah, we've already been over that.
But I know that I had doubt in myself, and I'm just thinking crazy stuff. I'm thinking just, going back through my mind of the way he talked to her, treated her in my home, things she had said to me about them having trouble, about him upset about her son in New York having a baby and him having to pay for things, and there were some financial problems, always financial. She went into the marriage thinking he was well-to-do, had money, had all these properties. Turns out I don't think that's true. I don't think that ever was true.
That's why I told him he lied to us from the get-go, so we don't have any reason to trust him.
Seeing her body, I know. I know that she's a female. I know statistics. I know there's no way she would have left it. Even in the instant that you make a decision to do that to yourself, you don't think about, I'm going to use my awkward hand. It's not. That is when I knew.
So let me
that it's not right.
let me try to put that at rest. And you gotta understand, you have to understand that because of the nature of the investigation, and like I told you, the investigation, and I told them, bear with me, I got a sciatic nerve. That's kind of why
That's okay.
I'm gangster.
That's all right.
Gangster leaning back here. I'm trying to get some relief on my back. The investigation is never closed. Therefore, I'm not going to tell you everything that I know.
Yes, sir.
That I know, and please understand that.
Of course.
So, when you told me earlier that you thought the exit wound was on the right-hand side of her head, it, with her body position in the bed, that's impossible. Because we recovered the projectile opposite of what you think.
Okay.
And to if it would have happened the way that you may think that it happened, virtually impossible for
See, I didn't know where the
For-
projectile was recovered. I didn't know any of that stuff. So.
I have that.
Okay.
We recovered that.
Okay.
So I can say without certainty that the exit wound was not on the right side of her head.
Okay.
You saw the pictures.
So you believe it was on the right hand side of her head?
I'll show you. I mean, the funeral director wanted me to take pictures. The
Funeral
beautician
director.
and them talked. I said, maybe I was like, you know, I'm not an idiot. I'm an educated person. Been in college for years. I'm not crazy. I see it. And I hope I'm wrong. God save me. I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't see the other side. And I'm not really honestly looking at the exit side. I'm looking at the entry point. There's no way there's that big of a gap in the sizes to make that legitimate to me. I can show you if you like to see.
No, because I'm not going to try this case across this desk.
I understand.
I'm not going to do that.
I just don't you know
I'm
that
not-
I feel like I'm not crazy.
And I understand, and I respect your opinion, but please respect mine.
I do.
By knowing that I know a little bit more than I'm relaying to you guys,
Okay.
and because I'm not trying to put this case at rest. Because again, I'm going to reiterate, the case is never closed. I'm trying to put your theories on these certain things to rest
Yeah.
by letting you know that
You know some things.
I know that's not quite how it happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the fact that any other case I've looked up or around this area that state was involved, and someone puts this on the shoulders of someone who apparently knows Tony for 20 years. I'm sick of him telling us that. I'm tired of him telling me how long he's known this man. It's really not fair to the investigator. I feel like it's not fair to him.
Who is he talking about?
He's talking about
Irby.
the investigator that he's been talking
Irby.
to the entire time.
Irby are big buddies.
Like
Now,
he
he
keeps
may be
saying
lying
that.
to us.
It doesn't-
I
that's
don't know.
Let me put that to rest.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he just
Okay.
what is
He just
this
keeps
crazy?
saying
Why
it.
is he
Tony-
lying?
That's, and again, lying is not a crime.
It's not a
Right.
crime.
But I can tell you, he's not known Alan Irby for 20 years.
Okay.
I've only known him for, I've been in office, July will be 3 years. He went to work for me. My gosh, y'all may know better than I do. I've got so much on my plate here.
Right. It's a
He
lot.
went
I
to work
know.
for
I mean,
me.
my whole family is from here.
Right
I
after
know this area.
I went
so.
into office, and he worked for 5 or 6 months on the road before I put him into the academy, and he quit the second day. And so that's the extent of my relationship with him is so he could very well say, man, I've known the sheriff for 20 years. No,
Yeah.
that's not true. I've only known you for maybe a year.
Right.
Well, is it
So
a legitimate thing? Is he just lying to us at the evening after he told us she was gone? That
I-
he said that it's no foul play
I think
and
that
all that? Or is he just...
I think that he's a chronic liar.
Yeah.
And okay.
I mean, if
What,
she
what
was
he,
my
what
wife,
he has
I'd
lied
want
to
to
you
know.
about, yeah, I have to question that. You know, I see things in the documents that you provided me that pique my interest. The Tennessee thing, man, that piques my interest.
Thank you.
Okay?
That's what we wanted to hear. Cool.
So,
And I have the number.
it piques my interest. It's not my job
Speculate.
to make Tony Jones a bad guy. That's not
No.
No.
what my job is.
And it's not mine either. And I don't want that. I didn't want to feel that or believe that.
But it's my job to investigate until we can't investigate anymore.
Right.
Right.
That's what my job is, and
All the facts
that's
and-
what I'm
Right.
committed to doing, and that's, when things are brought to light, like a Tennessee thing here, okay, well,
Tennessee's
maybe,
a little
maybe
light.
that's not really relevant, but if it brings a question, well, I'm gonna look at it.
And the
I'm
time-
obligated to look
And the
at it.
timeline, that's what
And
bothered me.
Yes, and the timeline, I'm obligated to look at it.
Well, motive is important. I understand. I'm not saying that I'm not. God forgive me. I pray that I'm completely wrong and just crazed. But
But you have questions.
there's, as an objective person, I'm observing many things that are questionable, and when there's doubt, there's a reason.
And I'm going to try every question that you have. I'm going to try to give you a logical explanation
Right.
for,
Okay.
to the best of my ability. It may not be what you want to hear,
Yes, sir.
Right, that's fine.
like the casing. I hope that I put that casing
You did.
thing to
You
rest.
did. I'm
It's
done
it's
with
very
that.
logical
I'm done with
that's man. I'm telling you.
And the package.
I'm going to share this.
Yeah.
I'm going to share this very tidbit of the investigation with you. We're doing things with the firearm right now that you don't have any knowledge of.
Thank you, sir.
And I if it leaves this room and somebody else, I'm gonna
You're not
say
not talk to us anymore. We're not
Exactly
telling
right.
anybody.
Right.
okay.
We're not telling anybody anything.
So we're having that firearm tested, and doing some comparisons to make sure that everything that we think happened exactly the way that we.
Exactly.
Okay. If I thought for a millisecond that me or my chief detective wasn't capable of doing everything that we need to do, I'd turn this case over to whoever,
Yes, sir.
Could you-
whether it's
Once
state
again, we're not
police or what,
disparaging you guys at all.
I know that. I'm just saying, if I thought for a second that we weren't capable of looking at this thing at every angle and getting the answer to your questions, I'd be the first one to step up and say, man, I can't do this.
So, how long have you known Mr. Irby? Did you saying you don't know Mr. Irby that long, or you don't know Tony that long?
Tony.
Tony.
Okay. Do you have known Mr. Irby for
Yeah.
a
Oh,
good
my
number
whole
of years?
life. He and
Well,
I-
he should know that Tony's running around talking about they're best buddies for 20 years. I've got it recorded saying it.
No,
It's
I've
just
not.
like,
I've
doesn't
not
make
heard
any
that.
sense.
No, I've not heard him tell anybody that.
Well,
Yeah.
And so
it
that's
definitely
why.
is there. It's just like weird that he would lie. I mean, I don't understand.
Well, that's just it. That's
He's
what
a
I'm
chronic
concerned
liar.
that he's willing to lie about
And it doesn't
little
even-
things
why-
and
why
important
lie?
things.
It-
Exactly.
You know,
Why?
so let me throw this out there, and this is totally unrelated. I'm using this totally as an example. And you're gonna think that I'm weird or crazy. Let me tell you a rumor that I've been fighting for a year now. The rumor's out there. Me and my wife have been separated for over a year. I just woke up next to her this morning, and I'm telling people I don't know who is
Perpetuating this rumor.
who keeps that going, but whoever he is a liar and is a instigator of something.
But the man who is married to her is lying. It's not
That's
someone
what
on the
that's
street.
that's my message. That's what I'm trying to say. There are people out there that are not like you and I, that live a life of drama-free life, and that we consider ourselves good people and we want to do good things in our community and for the world. He's not one of them. Does that make him a criminal? No. A bad person, him being a bad person is not a crime. Until we can prove, or we take the evidence that's been presented to us and we prove him
Right.
to be a criminal. He can tell people all he wants to that he's known Alan Irby for over 20 years. He hadn't committed a crime. Is that relevant?
And the verbal abuse. I mean, I'm just looking at a pattern of abuse.
So once y'all call, you verify, she'll give you the address.
Was
Again,
Crystal
it's-
sad? I believe she found out he was cheating on her and running around and they were gonna split up. I 100%, without a doubt, believe that to be true. Just because I know Crystal. I have known her since I was a teenager at Bastrop High. And I know how she puts on for people. Crystal didn't tell the truth either. Crystal had her own secrets. My initial thought was someone else was involved. She had a boyfriend, something. That was my initial from the beginning. I worried about that, but I didn't foresee that he was the one with the problem, not her. And I believe that she had been fishing and found some things, and I believe her son left. There wasn't another eye on the household, and the two of them together. And I'm worried about abuse. And I would like to know the report. The autopsy report is very important to me. If there are bruises that can't be seen by everyone in areas, which there were some things I saw. Now I don't know. I've never been in an autopsy, and throughout my career, I don't know those parts of it. There were bruises in her thighs. They don't look like something you would do for an autopsy, like it's from that movement of the body. It's possible. I don't know those things. That's not my field. I'm not in your field. I don't know. This is just me looking in
And
thinking,
neither, that,
that doesn't look right.
I can
but
tell
the
you
abuse
that-
was there verbally in my home. I witnessed it.
okay.
Forceful to her.
I cannot reiterate enough, guys. Everything that you're telling me, I believe.
You can't ever have somebody for being an asshole.
That's
No
all we
idea
want. Someone to listen that we have doubts.
that has happened. Unfortunately, that I don't want to say verbal abuse is not part of the investigation, but I can't make Tony Jones be a criminal because he
No,
talked. So you got to know and realize that. Okay, that's what you guys theorize and know that has happened. Is it part of this case?
Well,
You got.
that's why, you know.
Well,
Bringing it to you.
I know in each
I know.
case,
And that's,
if there is a suspect, they go first. They rule out the spouse, and I know that
well,
to
he's,
be true.
well,
And I don't say that, and I don't think that you feel like, and that you know the things, you know the facts that I don't know. I only know the facts that I know because you're in an investigation and you have to do the things you're supposed to do. But us as a family, you know, we're grieving and we're hurt, but there's too many things that are truths, not speculation, not hearsay, and coming from his mouth as well. So it's just things that I know that I am observing. And I
He's talking
wanted,
to her.
I have talked to Jana in the beginning, so Jana, it's just, you know, it just
But
is
now
what it is.
he's got the
Um,
paperwork to show.
I wish you could have been
But
here
it's
from
too
the
much.
beginning
Because-
because
Too
we
much.
went through a
To not
lot.
speculate, something's weird.
Yeah, we
I
went
mean,
through.
I don't know, I hope it's not the worst thing, I think. And, you know, as I see Tony in person, you know, I feel like he's not ever been abnormal to me, myself. But I do observe things. Did watch him at the funeral. I just haven't seen him grieving. I mean, and everyone's different. People grieve in different ways. People put on a face for other people. He may be on something that helps him calm himself, take in something. I don't know. I just don't think that I'm trying to blame him. Because I don't want to. Because I want her to lay at rest. I want to get to peace with it. I want these people to be at peace with this. But if I didn't doubt so much, if I didn't see so many things and know so many things, I'll be like, yeah, makes sense. She was on some Abilify. She was real depressed. People were seeing her around town saying how bad she looked, how sad she was. Well, I would be sad too if my husband was running around and on Match.com and cheating on me. And that's true. That's the truth. So.
And I don't doubt a word that you just said, but what I'm trying to say
Is a cheater a killer? I understand what you mean. I know what you mean.
having said that though, I cannot reiterate enough. Please know and understand, everything that you just told me and presented to me,
You'll investigate it. Without a doubt.
we'll be on top of it.
Well, that's all we want. It's just.
Thank you for your time, bro. We're gonna
Everybody
hold you up
give
to the
us-
table.
Give him 5 minutes to get up.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate you.
Guys, y'all don't know how
Thank you.
much that, I'm a different kind of sheriff.
No, you're a lot like Mike. Don't take that in a bad way. Don't tell him I said that.
I do things a little differently. I talk a little differently. I'm no politician. I only want to do the right thing. And when I see a family come in that I know is obviously grieving, just know and understand. I may not grieve like you, but I see pain in your eyes. And if I can relieve that pain just a little bit by going over and looking into what you've presented to me, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, sir. And we thank you.
You know?
We thank you.
And
At the end of the day, it may not be what you want to see,
that's
but I'm going
okay.
to present it to you in a fashion that, man, listen, I have beat this thing to death and I can't come up with anything. Or I may beat it to a point I'll say, you know what? Man, there may be something to this.
I just want an answer, even if it's
I just
not
don't
one I
want him
don't
to run off until I just don't want him to run off. I just don't want him to fly on to Hawaii with whatever he's got. I want to know for sure that he does not have an insurance policy, because I
There
know
is no policy.
There's no policy.
I know there's got to be something somewhere uncovered.
So push that door. Let me very quickly.
I just don't want him to
So
run
there
off.
is no policy.
Okay.
There's no policies associated with either one of them. I will share that with you. My guys have already dug into that. There is no policy.
I just feel like he should be told you can't run off. Like, you need to stay
Well,
around to see
I
this
need to
through.
clear that up. I can't tell him he can't run off.
All right.
You got to come to that realization. I can't tell him he can't run off. If he wants to fly to Kalamazoo
He can.
and set up shop and eat
Well, I
in
wouldn't
there in
blame
Kalamazoo,
someone for leaving after all this.
I
wouldn't
can't tell
blame
him. So you need to know that. I
Right.
can't tell him that he can't do that. Even if I were to charge him and he were to bond out, he wanted to go
He's
to
free to
Kalamazoo,
go.
I can't stop him from going. Very quickly, I know the financial struggles, but I see you talking about he's making payments and he's this trip. Where do you think this money is?
From the funeral donations he's getting from the
Either
community.
he's using the funeral donations as a slush fund. He also confided to me that he had a credit life insurance policy on their vehicle.
Vehicles
So
through
the
State
vehicle's going
Farm.
to be paid off. Now, I do know this because I've taken these loans out before. When you do the credit life, sometimes they'll upsell you and they'll give you an option to have a beneficiary. You know, it'll pay off your loan, plus it'll pay a beneficiary.
Yeah.
So there's credit life on the vehicle
And the loans.
and the loans.
Maybe credit cards.
And I'm thinking that if money is going to be coming in from somewhere, if he's gotten money or is expecting money, these credit life insurance policies, you don't have to sign a single medical form. You don't have to send a single medical record to these credit life policies. They're going to sign you up,
Or
These are
especially if you're
things that
43
would set
years
my
old.
mind at ease. Like, I don't want him to run off because I want to know for sure, and I hope to God I can apologize later. That's what I pray for. But I need to know that he's not working for this police department right now.
He's not.
He's not.
He doesn't
But
work
these,
for
these
What
credit
would give
life.
you that impression that he's working?
Him.
He
Just
he's a
says he's a on-call patrol guy.
he's
Yeah.
he's
I
already
don't know.
he's
I don't
already he's a pathological liar. He knows
Yeah,
that.
he knows that.
He tells
knows
it.
that, Joy. But
Can
yeah,
I be
But
perfectly honest
he
here?
had his vest
Just for a moment.
in the home as I went in to get her jewelry. His bulletproof vest was just sitting
Can
there.
I be perfectly honest here?
Yes, please.
And again, you have to understand, I'm no politician. And I don't do things politically correct. And I let my mouth tear my ass out the frame on a daily basis. So please, please don't. Number one, I told you on the phone yesterday, I will not ever cover up a thing for anybody. That includes my wife and my children. If you've done wrong, you've done wrong. Don't come crying to me about it. I've done wrong in my life. I'm going to admit that to you. I've done wrong. The good Lord has forgiven me, I hope, for everything I've done.
Don't ever think for a minute that I'm going to cover up anything for anybody. Tony Jones does not work for me.
Okay, good. Because he has on his Facebook, he does. I'm
I
just saying.
can't help what
just
he
saying.
has on his Facebook.
It's like
I
he's the
can't-
one
listen
that
to me,
makes
ma'am,
us
please.
feel crazy.
Please, just listen to me, because I'm really directing this to you. I think that the other guys here have a pretty good understanding of who I am and what I stand for. I can't help what he has on his Facebook page. He could put on there, I'm Donald Trump's pimp. I can't help that. He could put on his, he could go down to the donut shop in the morning and tell everybody in there, I work directly for Scott Matthews and I have $1 million in the bank. I can't help what he goes out in the public and says. That's not for me to control.
I understand.
I can't help that he may have had 10 affairs.
Yeah. It is illegal to pose as a police officer. It's illegal. I mean, I know that. I know what you're saying. But I just know it's like, who does that? I don't know.
He knows
You're
Tony's
not
a liar.
wrapping your mind around,
He
man,
knows Tony's
what
a
I
liar.
have already conceded to you guys. I know he's a liar.
Okay. I just want y'all to know that. I don't want
You have to know that. And at this point in this conversation, I don't think you've come to that realization. He is a liar. Is him being a liar against the law? No, it's not. You've got to accept he's a liar. He's not the person that he portrays himself to be out in the public or to anybody. Is that a crime? It is not. There are people that come in here on a daily basis and attack me by spreading things about me and my wife in the community.
Yeah.
Would I love to arrest them? You're damn right I would.
Right.
Nothing.
It's not a crime.
I don't want you to feel like anything I'm saying is against the police department. My great grandfather was a sheriff here. I'm not saying anything about the police or the investigation. I feel like you're doing your job. I just feel like, why is he that's where we get our suspicions is from him. He portrays all these things to us, and he's been making us think all along he's buddy in the sheriff's department and patrolling the streets. I mean, it's just like it makes us. It's like he wants us to be more suspicious or something. I mean, that's what it sounds like. But I feel like it's not legal to portray yourself as a police officer, especially to pull someone over, and who knows?
Who has he pulled
You
over?
know, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing out
So
there.
having said that statement, and I ask you, who has he pulled over? Well, I don't know.
I don't know, but he could.
I've not had a single complaint of him pulling over anybody.
Okay, good.
Has he done it? I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But when you bring these issues to light, I'm telling you, Tony Jones doesn't work for me. He will never
that
work
makes
for
me
me.
feel better for you to say that to me. Like, that just makes me feel a little better.
And as a professional in your line of work, just like I guess I'm a professional in my line of work.
Oh yeah,
You've
yeah.
got to know and understand.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't sometimes what they portray themselves to be. So you got to let that go
I know.
until I can either
up.
dispel the what you've brought me, or I can factualize what you've brought me.
Yes, sir.
You got to let that go. And until you let that go, you yourself will never find peace with what's going on in this case. You're come in, please.
Did you need Scott Beard for this meeting, or is it a different meeting?
Scott,
He said you sent him a message. Scott Beard.
I don't know Scott Beard.
Okay.
Thank you. Again, guys,
We thank you for your time.
I know. I'm probably beating a dead horse here, ma'am, but you got to let some of this stuff
I know
go,
I'd
man.
lose my license if I said I was a doctor. They would strip my license. I know that a person saying they're a nurse would get their license stripped. I know that you cannot run around saying you're a police officer. You just can't. It's just
You
not
cannot
right.
run around making traffic stops and portraying
Yeah.
yourself as a police officer. If I want to go down to the donut shop and sit down with a table
I
full
know.
of men and say, I'm a
Right.
police officer, he has not committed a crime. Let that go. Let that's in the big scheme of what we got going on here. That's
Okay,
that's petty.
I feel like you're upset with me.
I
These
am.
are just
I
my
am.
concerns.
I'm taking
I'm
offense.
upset.
Thank you for your
I'm
time.
taking offense.
What for what? What have I
Because you
offended
come
you
in
by?
and you portrayed me as someone that's allowing
I'm
this to
not
happen.
portraying you as anything at all. I have never said that
Well,
at all
well,
and said
well,
you did anything
well,
wrong at all. I do
well,
not believe that. I
please
believe
no.
he has made us suspect him just by his mouth. Like, we just don't know what is going on. We're not from here. We're not from here right now.
I am
lived
from
in Monroe.
here, ma'am. I am
My
from
family
here.
is from here. I just dropped off flowers to my grandparents in Goodwill.
And I'm trying. I'm trying
And
to
I don't
portray
believe
to you.
that you're doing anything wrong. I don't want you to feel that I am saying this towards you. We have just been so upset by the way he has portrayed things.
I understand. And,
Like he's lied to us
Again,
about
I'm
so
no
much.
politician. And I just told you I let my mouth overload my tail
Yeah.
too much.
I don't want you to feel like I don't want to offend you at all, or the police department at all.
And maybe I've taken it a little bit wrong here, but
No.
I'm trying to let you know the things that some of the things that you're talking about does not constitute a crime.
Yeah.
And you can't let that have a bearing on my end. You can't let those things have a bearing on trying to find the truth.
Right, I understand.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, he has just kind of made us to believe that he's just some big wig over here police guy.
He's a chronic liar.
Like running around.
He's
I
a
don't
chronic
know.
liar.
I mean, that's why we've been so upset. It's
You
like
got to know and understand that. That's what chronic liars do. They portray themselves as something that they are not. And he's got that burr under your saddle, and you've got to let that go. Now, I'm telling you, please let it go. And until you let that go, you can't find peace in this case. That's the message that I'm trying. And I'm sorry that I'm sorry that you and I have. Okay.
Well,
I don't want it to be that way.
I just want you to know, my concerns are not brought towards you or anyone else. My concerns are brought towards
His character.
him telling us and making us think these wild things of, like, I'm a police officer, I've known him for 20 years. I'm like, why is he investigating the case? They should have had the state come in. That was my first thought. And that's just me being like you, like a person that knows not kind of not the things you do. And it makes sense to me now that he's a liar and that he doesn't even work for the police. Like, that's why we suspected, like, weird stuff, because he just portrays himself like he's up here with you guys, chilling, you know, doing his job.
Ain't happening.
I don't even know if he has a job. I'm beginning to believe he doesn't work. But I just want you to understand that it's not me
Absolutely.
saying you've done something wrong. It is what has been put in my face the
Let
whole
me.
time.
This has my cell number on it. Please feel free.
Well, I'm
To
flying back
call me.
home
She's from Germany.
Oh my gosh.
I flew home from Cuba.
Please have a safe trip. Okay.
I'll be out in just a second.
Okay.
Don't leave me.
I won't.
Okay. That is my sister-in-law, and she's been married to my brother Danny for 30 years. And she helped me with all. He didn't want her in him, and that's why.
I understand.
I can't thank you enough for giving us a lot of closure. And with that stack of paperwork, all I ask you to do, even if it's an answer I don't want, just give it to me.
I understand.
If it's, I don't care if it's you telling me there's nothing to it, but you have to just any answers, one that I want to hear. And I can't thank you enough.
Listen. Can I pray with you?
Please.
Lord, I just ask that you wrap your arms around this family. Lord, I ask that you give me guidance to take this in a direction that will give this family some closure. Lord, all we want is the truth. We want nothing but the truth. And Lord, I ask for your guidance in doing that. Lord, be with this family. Wrap your arms around them. Give them traveling grace on their way home. Give them the ray of hope and the light to know that you are the master and the one that, the ultimate investigator. Lord, I ask these things in your son's precious holy name. Amen. I do everything, and I'm sorry that I get emotional. Like I said, I'm a different sheriff. Okay?
You are a lot like Mike, I'm just gonna tell you. Can I go way back to when I was probably born?
And I tell people, if you're looking for a politician, you're looking at the wrong guy here.
And you gave my brother a lot of answers, and I appreciate that, because he's about facts. And the shell casing was one of them, and it made sense to him.
Okay.
And like I said, with that, if there's nothing to it,
Do not hesitate to call me with any question that you may have. Do not hesitate. Don't call anybody else. You call me directly. If my guys, if Alan, when I go over this with him and we uncover anything that needs to be brought to your attention, I'll call you immediately.
okay, and if you don't get up, if for some reason your call doesn't come through, shoot me a text and let me call you, because
I will.
I don't know what's going on. I called
Okay.
that Tennessee number and it wouldn't let me go through. It wouldn't let the call go through. I had to use Dane's phone, so I'm not sure what's going on. But look, I can't thank you enough. And
You're welcome.
she's
All right.
she's herself.
I understand. And things get better.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
All right, where'd y'all go?
I have no idea.
I was
We
going
went
to say
this way.
if, yeah.
Passed by a cat. Yeah. Passed by a cat picture. And a cat.
All right, I'll be in touch soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.